Hello everyone, it is the 5th week of Eastertide. Can you believe it? 5 weeks in. So this week's theme is example, and boy have we got some examples of Christian faith and awesomeness this week. So we start the week with the 5th Sunday of Easter, so we'll still be celebrating Easter at church this weekend if you're there, or in our daily lives just by, eating the rest of those Easter eggs. Carry on eating them, there's no reason not to because it's still Easter. So on Monday, it is obviously still Easter, but we can also celebrate the feast of St. Bernardine of Siena. Now, St. Bernardine was an awesome guy. He was part of working in the biggest hospital in Siena, and especially at a very busy time. There's a huge plague going around Siena at the time when St. Bernardine was working there, and he was really instrumental in caring for people and helping bring about the recovery out of the city. So after he'd been working in the hospital, most of the people were better, he decided to walk across Italy quite a lot. He zigzagged across the country, telling people about Jesus and about God's love and evangelising people. So he died in 1444 at the age of 64, which is quite an old age for that time. So that's St. Bernardine, and we celebrate him on Monday. On Tuesday we are remembering a martyr, and this special martyr's companions is Christopher Magallanes, and he was born and raised and died as well in Mexico. And at the time he was working with his companions in a seminary where priests trained to be priests. He was unfortunately martyred in a bit of a dispute between the Catholic Church and the Mexican government at the time, who weren't very supportive of Catholic communities such as the one he was part of and founded. On Wednesday, we've got the feast of St. Rita of Cascia, and she was an amazing person. Basically, she kind of really wanted to be a nun from an early age, but her parents said, no Rita, you should be married, you should be a married person, get a husband. So she did, and unfortunately, after 18 years of marriage, such a long time, and 2 sons as well, her husband was killed in a bit of a fight in the local village. This meant that she was left with widowed, but with her 2 sons. Unfortunately, they died not long after this. Meant that Rita was left a widow without any sons or husband. So then she decided, that maybe this is a sign from God. Maybe it's time to start exploring religious life for myself and my vocation. So she approached the local Augustinian community of religious sisters there and was turned away. But not only once, turned away 3 times. She was rejected from that community 3 times when she applied to go and be part of their community. On the 4th time though, thankfully, she was accepted and lived a wonderful life as a religious sister, a nun, as an Augustinian. She unfortunately died of tuberculosis, but at the grand age of 90. So lived an amazing life, and really one we can look to as an example. She is particularly the patron saint of difficult circumstances, especially those regarding marriages and people who may be widowed. So if you know anyone in your life who is in that unfortunate position and struggling, maybe you could ask St. Rita to intercede for them and for us all. Thursday and Friday it is back to Eastertide, so a great time to just think of the theme of this week, which is example, and think of the theme of Easter, that joyous celebration that we can continue for all of these weeks. Now, Saturday is a very exciting day for many of us, and especially people like me who are from the northeast. It is the feast of St. Bede, or the Venerable Bede as he is sometimes known. So shout out to all those schools that are St. Bede's, especially you guys who are in Scunthorpe for St. Bede's school there. Shout out to you guys on this beautiful feast day. Now, St. Bede was born in Jarrow, it is believed, which is a place in the northeast, just near Sunderland. It's pronounced Jarrah if you're from there. He lived and worked in the UK, spreading the good news of Jesus' love and God's love to other people, but he was a scholar as well. He's written many, many very interesting works to do with science, theology, and all sorts of very interesting things. He was once known, or considered to be, the most educated and intellectual man in England. Pretty big claim to fame. So his tomb, his shrine, is in Durham Cathedral, so if you're ever visiting Durham you can go into Durham Cathedral and actually see the place where St. Bede is buried. It's amazing. So here's a little picture of it. You can just walk in, and people do every day go in and pay homage to St. Bede, but also look at the magnificent cathedral that is Durham Cathedral. So maybe going forward after this week of brilliant examples, we can think, how can we be great examples for each other? And for people who are learning from us and reading our example that we're giving. Someone once said, we may be the only Bible that people read, and I think that's so important that we are a brilliant example for the people of God's love. So my name's Naomi, this has been Extraordinary, and I will see you soon. Bye!